Hello, this is Mo Sticky Pads coming at you. Hope everything is well with you. This is for my people who own businesses, who work at pest control, who do it on the side. This is for all you guys. I have 7 years of pest control experience. I've worked with every national pest control company that's out there, including ones that are offset. Or actually, I take that back. I've been dealing with all that are international. The ones that you see on the road, that's the ones that I worked for. I've done it for 7 strong years. Background, I've done termite work, I've done inspections, I've done normal pest control, I've done mosquito control. And so I know what I'm talking about. And I'm talking off of my experiences, listening to wise people, and using what wise people have told me. Also, going by the EPA. So, here we go. Today's topic is about mice and baits for mice. Okay, I call myself Mo Sticky Pads, but sticky pads don't always work. As a matter of fact, I would say sticky pads are used for monitoring. We're not talking about rats now. We're not talking about rats. We actually can get there one day. But with rats, you can use the sticky pad that is very sticky and gooey. They call rat pads, rat sticky pads. I can't remember the name right now, but it's together and it's when you open it, it sticks. It's hard to put it. It's two in one. So when you pull it apart, it's very complicated because it's very sticky. In addition to rat traps, which are very, very careful when you're setting these mice traps because it can break your fingers. All right, so we're going to talk about traps is the key to mice. Okay, bait boxes is always good, but the A1, as I've been told by older gentlemen, is the snap traps. Okay, there's several things that people use that I've seen in households. They have these sound barriers. I've seen them for a long time. I don't think they work. They're supposed to keep the mice away. There's like a, it's like a sensor, like a dog, like they can hear a whistle or something that brings them away. I've been hearing that for like 5 years. I don't think it works. That's just my personal opinion. But let's talk about snap traps. Snap traps work. All right. I'm talking about baits today, but placement is another conversation I'll save for another episode. But in regards to what you put in the snap trap, what baits to use. Okay, so I'm using this as a concentrated uh, piece of information. I got my notes here, and we're gonna rock and roll. All right. We'll start with first the world famous cheese. I don't like them. It's old school, but we've matured from that. How long can you keep cheese for a pest control technician? How long can you keep cheese in your bag? It's going to get old, and God knows if mice are already uh, suspicious and curious. What makes you think they're going to go to this cheese that you just bought? Not saying that you just bought it, but let's say you've had this block of cheese for weeks and months. You think the mouse is going to run to that? So I don't really. Maybe when I first started pest control, doing residential and commercial, but I don't really advise that. It's an option. This is all about options because mice are very curious. That's the key. Mice are so curious, and you have to be patient with mice. They're very curious. There's videos that I wish I can show you, but in the classes that I was in, it shows them checking the area out. And if things are just moved a little bit or off or it's been tampered with, if it's not a young mouse, they're not going to go to it. They're very, very suspicious. The babies, they don't know better. They'll go to it. But the adults, they're not going to run to it immediately. So you have to have variations. That's why when you have these traps and you go to the residence or like apartments, and the trap is still there and they still have mice issues because the mouse knows the environment. And so if you have this trap there in the same in different areas, like you moving around, it's not going to work. There's a science to catching mice, and you have to really know what you're doing. If not, you're going to lose your account. So I was just going off a tantrum, but let's say cheese. All right, cheese. If you do choose choose different variations of cheese, maybe you can catch the babies. I don't know. Maybe there's one that's just off. An ADHD mouse. I don't know, but if you do cheddar, do white, do provolone, do all of that. But I'm not. Let's just talk about something else because I don't really want to even talk about cheese. Let's talk about chocolate, okay? Please, let's get on something that I'm used to using and doing. Chocolate. Chocolate is magnificent. You could add that in there. They like chocolate. Um, and there's one thing I'm gonna say at the end is is that you cannot have competition. When we're catching a mouse, you have to let the account know that there can't be any competition, which means that your kitchen has to be clean. You have to have no food other than what's on the trap. All right, no competition. You can't have a chocolate cake and then have a chocolate on the trap. You gotta let the account know that you gotta clean up. That's very important. If not, it's going to be very hard to catch a mouse because there's so much food in there. What makes them think they're going to go on food on a trap? Unless you have a lot of them, that's another conversation about the amount of traps you can have out and safety. There's so much to talk about with mines. It's we're gonna get on it because this is actually a series and it's getting colder now. So we're gonna talk about this. But chocolate, yes. Go to the store, don't spend that much money. Go to Dollar Tree and get all this stuff. Get some chocolate, put it on the bait. Put it on the trap, excuse me. And you can put on sticky pads too. It won't hurt. Um, but yeah, uh, that's what that is. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about sticky traps and how sticky traps don't even work for mice, really. Um, they're really not. It's really used for monitoring, if you really ask me. If you ask a professional that's been out for years of experience, they would not advise sticky pads, not the ones like insects monitoring, the ones that is just not. It doesn't work too well, and then they start crying. Anyway, I need to be focused. Natalia is a great one. I was using that the last time I was using pest control is Natalia. That's my go-to. If I need some bait, go to Dollar Tree, buy some Natalia. Lasts long. If it's the summertime, make sure you keep it, cool in the truck. You keep it, in your bag. Make sure that it's cool because, it can melt and, that good stuff. All the butters, make sure you keep them cool if it's not cool outside. So Natalia's one. Sun butter, I realized later, is another good bait to use. Sun butter, you buy it in the store. Um, and me personally, since I'm a vegan, what you can do is when you buy the jar is this big. Just use this much, put it in a little jar for pest control, and save the rest for you and having sandwiches and for lunch. Don't put it all; it's expensive anyway. So sun butter is a good option to use also. If those don't know what sun butter is, it's sunflower seeds crushed and in a smooth substance. Peanut butter, always a go-to. Can't go wrong with peanut butter. It's a beautiful thing. Let's rock and roll. Peanut butter is the way to go. Granola is something that I was informed to use also. Granola is a beautiful thing to add to the trap, the snap trap. Just add that in there, and that's also good. So, but yeah, that's basically it. That's the video. The video is just that. These are variations where you can catch a mouse. Now, the way that this works is that, let's say this week, you go. Let's just say a new account, an apartment complex, right? And so this week you have your list of people that you're going to, and you're going to the people that have mice issues. Now, of course, there's other things to deal with when you're catching them, when you're getting them out. There's many things. It's a science. You got to, find out how they're coming in and using steel wool. And there's so many things with this, but I'm talking about in a relation to baits. So let's say this week, we're going to add chocolate to the snap trap, right? And we're rocking with the snap trap for the chocolate for, let's say, that first week. All right, let's say the account says we have still cannot get this problem resolved. So I would say the next week you add Natalia. Well, actually, that's the same, almost the same thing. But let's say let's say sun butter we use next the following week. So we use sun butter the following week. And see how that works for you. Then let's say you're still having this problem. Now the temperature is rising for the account and for you, and you're just like, okay, this is beginning to be a problem. Well, I would switch those out, those traps, and put peanut butter on it. All right, that doesn't work. Go to granola, and that doesn't work. Just try other strategies. But remember, the more traps, the better. That, again, is what I've heard to a gentleman that is very wise. He's been in the business for a long time, that snap traps is the answer. So, of course, you have to take precautions of playing them if you have children. As a pest technician, to be careful. If you have pets, be careful. Um, all those things take into account. There's other ways to catch a mouse, as we already mentioned: bait boxes, snap traps. Um, what else? Is there anything? Well, the steel wool, of course, making sure you find out how they're getting in. All those good things. But and how to place them is very important. I need to stress a video about that. But yeah, I would say just switch it up, because why? Mice are very peculiar people. They're very cautious. They are very mindful. They're blind, but they are very wise. So that's it. That's all I have for today. Much love to you. More sticky pads coming at you. Next week, I'll be talking about something else. This might be the mice series. Hey, have a great day. God bless.